Welcome to No But Seriously Story Time.
Hey y'all.
Hey. Every other episode, we're going to be featuring your stories, Reddit posts, and outtakes that weren't able to fit into our regular format episodes.
Don't forget to submit your stories, your questions, and your requests for advice at the link in our bio. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at no.bs.pod.
Thanks for listening. Okay. Here we
Hi,
go.
friends. Okay. Do you want to do one? Do you want me to do one?
You start. Because you
All
pick
right.
really good ones.
You're going to keep saying that, and then one of these days it's going to be a dud. It might be this one. We'll see.
Statistically speaking, you're right. It's going to happen, but we're okay. We're okay now.
We're okay right now. Okay. Am I the asshole? Oh, this is from Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for banning my sister's boyfriend from the house after he, quote, borrowed my expensive PC monitor? I, 28 male, have a sister 16 female, and we live together. I don't know my dad, but when I was 6, my mom, this must be a British person because they said mum. When I was 6, my mom met a great guy that I consider my real father, and they had my sister. Now, when my sister turned 8, our parents died in a car accident. I was 20 back then and became her legal guardian. And I've been raising her alone ever since. I had to sacrifice a lot for her, and it's been tough for the both of us, but we managed. I love my sister a lot, and I did slash do slash will always put her first. When she was 15, she met a 16-year-old boy at her swimming club and became her first love and her first real boyfriend. He always seemed like a great guy to me. I like tinkering around PC parts. It's my hobby. After saving for a bit, I bought a high-end PC part and built a whole PC myself. I also bought a very expensive OLED monitor. Now, I let my sister and her boyfriend use the PC when I'm doing something else or when I'm not home. Her boyfriend always has been really careful when using it and never did anything that would make me suspect him of doing something bad with it. One day I went hiking for 2 days and I left my sister in her boyfriend's mom's care. I came back home on Sunday evening and I almost fainted. All caps, there was no monitor. I panicked and I called my sister, and she told me that her boyfriend, quote, borrowed it for the day. I rushed over to his apartment, went into his room, and there he was, gaming on that monitor. I tried to be calm, and I said that I'm willing to forget this happened if he apologizes. He looked at me and said, I thought I could borrow it. I will be using it for another 2 hours. Wait, okay? The monitor was $1,500, and the rule was that no one but me can move it from my desk. They agreed to this. I became furious inside and I told him that I'm not going to yell at him, but I'm going to take this monitor back right now. He seemed annoyed, but he let me take it back. His mom was at work, so she had no idea what he did. My sister just was watching from the side, clearly knowing that they both broke my trust. She apologized for both of them, but to me, that was not enough. I wanted him to apologize, but he refused. The next day, I found him using my PC. He didn't ask me if he could do it. I got angry and told him that unless he apologized now, he is banned from entering the apartment, and my sister is grounded for letting him do it. He started yelling at me that I don't know how it is to be poor. And then side note, he said, I do. I've raised my sister having $5 in my bank account at times and have had to manage, but we're now doing well, so I do get it. He then called me an asshole and left. My sister started crying, saying that if I don't go back on my word and let him visit, she will hate me and move to North Carolina once she turns 18. I feel like I'm lost in this situation as I don't want to lose my sister and I have to let go so she doesn't hate me because she hasn't talked to me for an entire week. Am I the asshole?
Oof. I went into this thinking, like, well, if you were letting them use it and you were gone, maybe they tried to get a hold of you camping 2 days, hiking, whatever. Um, no, that's pretty bad. I will say, having been a hormonal 16-year-old, you're willing to like overlook every red flag. And so she's just being very, I'm going to move to North Carolina. Like, that's so dramatic. That's like a very 16-year-old response. But it just sounds like OP tried to do the right thing at every juncture. And like, I'm not going to yell at you, but I'm taking this back. It's mine. And then to violate that trust again, that's just, it's so shitty. I would absolutely ban that asshole from my apartment.
Yeah, I don't do well in situations like this. I'm not very good at sharing. Um, I yeah, I have am not good at sharing. Um, I think OP did. I agree with you. I think that they did everything that they knew to do.
Probably more than I would
I
have.
would have probably overreacted in a way
Yeah.
and like shown my ass and then had to be the one to apologize. I don't do well in situations like that. You don't take the shit that I bought out of my house. You actually are insane.
It's wild. At first, I was like, you just like went on a hiking trip for a couple days, and I'm thinking like then the boyfriend borrowed it or was like using it in the house because she just left like some horny teenagers alone. She didn't even do that. Like she left them in the care of his mom and whatever. Um, I don't know, the OP, whoever they are,
It. I think he did say male.
male,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
28,
yeah.
28,
28.
yeah. I honestly, I feel like he did more than I would have. I would have been pissed. I'm trying to think of what 28-year-old me would have done though. Like, I'm not responsible enough to have raised my sibling at all.
Also, yes.
Hard pass, especially not at 20. Like, that's no. Um, that is wild. That's wild.
I think it would have been one thing. No, I would have been pissed. I would have been pissed. I think no matter what, because it's just 2 days, and 2 days that this boyfriend could have gone without gaming on this nice PC monitor.
Yeah,
Or,
and to say, hold up, I need 2 more hours.
see, that's the thing. I think that would have triggered me for sure. That would have
That's
taken
it.
me. I would have seen red after that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that would have, because you're not going to tell me, one, you're not going to take something out of my house that doesn't belong to you without even talking to me about it, especially when I'm on like a vacation. That seems shady. I feel like you did that intentionally. I'm
Yeah,
getting
you
more
made
mad
it.
as I'm thinking it through.
Yeah.
Then to have the audacity to tell me
Hold
to
up.
wait.
Wait for your stolen property back. Just wait.
It's like when someone's borrowing your phone charger and you then decide that you need to charge your phone. Like, well, what percentage are you on, bitch? It doesn't matter. It's actually mine.
It doesn't matter because I've asked for it back. This is like this literally happened today. I asked my 7-year-old to bring me something. He wasn't exactly sure of the thing I was asking him to bring, but the way he said it was like, and so I said,
What did he say?
he said, what do you even mean? Like, what presents? How am I supposed to, right? Like, something to that effect. And I said, would you like to try that again? Would you like to try that again? And if they need a minute or they need a little help, you can give them an example. Sure, mommy. Which one do you mean? Can you tell me where it is? Do you want to try that again? Because that gives me a minute. That gives me a beat to pause and be like, the fuck did you just say to me? Or who do you think you're talking to?
Who the fuck are you talking to like that?
Yeah, what?
I could have never said what. I don't know
What?
I don't know what would have happened.
Huh?
It wouldn't have been violent, like, but it would have been not great.
Even like, God rest her soul, I still have my mother-in-law's voice in my head. Like, pardon? Do you pardon? Or like there are certain ways that, I mean, she was English and very proper, so there are certain ways that like there are things that would just not be acceptable. And so him even saying like not saying excuse me or pardon, those are major. And I said, would you like to try that again? He couldn't even see my face because he was around the corner, but he knew. So it started with, I'm sorry. And then he tried again. I would literally say that to an 18-year-old boy. Would you like to try that
Would you
again?
like to try that again? Wait, it's okay. So when I was in middle school and high school, before cell phones, which I'm afraid to have just admitted.
Ancient. In the olden days.
Like, it actually seems wild to be talking about when someone would call me and have to call the house phone.
To ask to speak to you.
So that's something that I'll have to talk to my therapist about. But when people would call the house phone and my dad would answer, he would always greet them with a good morning or a good evening. Mm-hmm. And so he would pick up the phone and say hello. And my friend, or like my brother's friend, would be like, hey, is Trina there? And he would say good evening. And they would be like, okay, is Trina there? And he would try to give them one more try, good evening, and hope that they would say, oh, good evening. Hello, how are you? Is my friend available? And if they did not greet him like a decent human being, he would hang with the phone. And then they would call again, be confused, like, oh, the line got cut off. Is Trina there? And like not understand the hint.
Did you prep your friends? I would
had to.
I would say you have to ask to speak to me. You can't just be like, is she there? You'd have to say, may I please speak with, or can I talk to?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Same if they came to the house, which they never did, because that's a whole other thing I talked to my therapist about.
Yep.
But, they would need to come to the door. If someone was picking me up, they needed to come to the door. They needed to greet my parents or something. Yeah. Not just boyfriends, like friends.
Anyone.
Because, anyone.
Anyone. Wow, children of strict-ass parents unite. Okay, so let's read some top comments.
Yeah.
Top comment is, fine, he can come over after everything with the computer is locked up. Let's see how long he's interested in your sister when he doesn't have access to the better things in life. Whoa, that took a turn in a way that I didn't expect it to be.
Wow.
But OP then said to that, what he did was really weird, but he has been dating my sister since before I bought the PC. We aren't really rich, just able to afford a life better than average. I don't think he's going to lose interest in her because ever since I banned him, he didn't give up on my sister or anything. So that's good.
That was a leap.
I did not expect that. Let's look for some other comments. OP, do not be manipulated by the emotional outbursts and lashing out of impulsive, immature children. The boyfriend has shown he has zero respect for OP's expectations, boundaries, or right to not be stolen from. Boyfriend can take a hike and sister can grow up some. These are a little bit more harsh than I expected.
Yeah.
And I thought that I was like being really mean. Oh my God, I just remembered something. I think I remembered why I'm so triggered by this. I'm projecting a little bit because I think it has triggered my childhood trauma, my not real childhood trauma, just my dramatic childhood trauma. Because I don't share very well, and I know I need to get better at it. It is a big flaw of mine. I'm not really great at letting people borrow things. Or anything like that. I grew up in a household where my father always told me, do not let anyone borrow anything. If you ever expect to get it back, don't ever let people borrow money. Don't ever let people borrow clothes or like, oh my God, if I had ever let someone borrow or drive my car, he would. I can't. Mm-mm. But I just remembered that way back in elementary school, one Christmas, my dad bought my brother and I a Nintendo 64. He bought it for my brother and myself. And he made it very clear this is a shared gift. I think he bought it so that we would like bond and like play video games together.
Yeah.
Get along.
Start getting
along. But he
along.
also was just like, one of y'all can't hog this game. Like, you guys need to share it. Okay. And we did. We did play well for quite some time. And he played his little games. I played my little games. I loved Banjo-Kazooie. I was fucking that game up. He was playing Mortal Kombat or Mario or whatever you were playing back in N64 days. But one day I came home and the Nintendo 64 was not in the living room. And so I went to his bedroom to try to see where it was. He was at, I don't know, football practice or hanging out with friends or something. And it wasn't there either. So I'm like scouring the house. Who else could possibly be playing this N64 other than me or my brother? Where is it?
Right.
He comes home and I start asking questions because now I've had time to like sit on it and stew and I'm looking around. What's going on here? And I learned that he had let his friend borrow our shared Nintendo 64. Okay, I guess, but as, you know, any typical only girl and youngest child would do, I go run to my dad.
Immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Let's get hop in the car. Let's go to this friend's house. I
Great.
need to
So
be.
let's get it back.
It's the weekend. I want to play Banjo Kazooie right now. And my dad makes a phone call, and then he comes to me with what is potentially the worst social news of my life to date, which is that friend's mom thought it belonged to another kid, and so gave it to that kid's mom. And so he was like, "Well, it's gone now." And I'm like, "No, it's not gone now. Let's make some
Go to
fucking phone
that
calls.
kid's house.
Let's run the block. Like the neighborhood's not that big. Let's make some shit happen here." I don't understand. And the whole thing just died after that. No one talked about it for a long time. It was just over. And my dad was just like, "Oh, lesson learned. That's why you don't let people borrow things." But like me, I am an innocent bystander here. I didn't do anything. I'm just an innocent child. I just wanted to play Banjo Kazooie. And I'm still, actually, the more I think about it, the more mad I get. I'm so
I'm
mad.
shocked your dad let it go.
You know what, actually? He may have lied. I also can see my dad doing this to teach my brother a lesson and never making that
Yes.
phone call. But still, I'm the innocent party here. I didn't do
Right.
anything in this situation.
You didn't consent to it even being borrowed.
So now I definitely don't let people, but that's probably why I'm like so triggered by letting people borrow shit. Also, I'm so mad right now. I think I'm starting to sweat a little bit. Oh my gosh, I'm so upset. If you're my brother and you're watching this, I want you to know this has reinvigorated my grudge for this, and I'm coming for you. It is going to be my mission for 2025 to inconvenience your life in the way that losing that Nintendo 65 inconvenienced my 4th grade year.
Fourth grade. Oh my God. These are
pissed.
some old grudges. I love it. I'm here for it. I remember losing something, thinking it was lost forever because it fell like behind the seat in our conversion van, and I'd just gotten it, and I was like way too scared to tell them that I'd lost it. And as it turns out, you could have just like pulled the little like drawers out, and it was probably in there. And but I never told them, and then they traded in that car for a sick ass Suburban. It was so cool.
So
That had, like,
someone
a VCR.
somewhere bought a conversion van and opened that drawer and saw a whole treasure full of.
Yeah. I think it was like a Jessica Rabbit figurine. I was so excited about it. But I was like too scared because I'm sure they told me like don't play with it right now or don't put it, I don't know. But it's always those things where you're like, I should have listened. But you didn't do anything. You did nothing wrong.
If your parents were like my dad, they may have found that Jessica Rabbit figurine and still just thrown it away and been like, lesson learned. You should have listened.
It's very possible. But I was the same way. Like, I didn't have brothers. I had sisters. And it was very much like if you borrow someone's clothes or anything, like you launder it and you put it back.
Yeah.
You put it back where you found it. And if it's not there, like, and we were terrible at that. Honestly, we did not follow that. But it was also like you don't let people, like friends don't borrow your things. That's not what this is. No.
I have a lot of my dad's like leftover like extra tools or just like he is very handy, so he's a lot of tools around. And when they get old and don't work to his caliber anymore, he just gives them to me. So I have a lot of hand-me-down like measuring tapes and shit. Every single one has his name written on it like 4 times. Like he has etched his name into it. First name, middle initials. Like we are very clear of whose thing this is. He did not play that. He did not play that at all.
That's funny. Wow. So is it they work, but like he gets a fancier version, or you have a bunch of broken tools?
No, they work. He just like every time he comes over the house and he uses the drill that I have, he'll always say, "Oh, this motor is slow. This motor is weak." And I'm like, "Yeah, Dad, it was weak when you gave it to me, and it has still just gotten worse." He's like, "You need a new one." I'm like, "I'll just wait for you to give me your old one, then I'll just upgrade." But they still work, just not as good as brand new.
Like to hit, okay, that makes sense. Like to his caliber.
Yeah.
Wow. Impressive.
Okay, we have gotten off topic. I'm so sorry. I don't know that I gave my opinion. I just like projected my issues into this situation.
I think we know where you stand.
Yeah, don't let people borrow shit. I'm glad you marched your ass over to that house and got your shit right back, because I would have done the same thing and probably slammed the door on my way out. So I don't have the most mature answer or maybe even the right answer, but you did what I would have done.
I'm surprised people were so harsh in the comments. But maybe it's because I've been a hormonal teenage girl. And I'm like, yeah, she's being dramatic, but like, so was
I don't
I.
think we got any background of like what is in North Carolina that makes her think she can just move there. But I would love a part two.
That is kind of interesting. Yeah, we'll stay tuned for that. I have an am I the asshole?
Ooh.
Okay. Am I the asshole for leaving my partner at home because his OCD made me late to a dinner party at a restaurant? My partner has OCD that has been progressively worsening over the past year. Before we leave the house, he has a routine of doing physical and mental checks, and these checks have been taking longer and longer. It's become such a problem that we're running late to almost everything. I've gently encouraged him to seek professional help, but he refuses and insists he can manage it on his own. 2 weeks ago, we were invited to a dinner party at a restaurant hosted by my boss. I was recently promoted, and this was an important opportunity to celebrate and make a good impression. Knowing how long his checks take, I asked him to start getting ready 2 hours before we needed to leave. Okay. Even with the extra time, his check still took 30 minutes and we were running late. I was panicking about showing up late to such an important event, so I told him I couldn't wait any longer and I left without him. I ended up being 5 minutes late and told my coworkers traffic was bad. No one seemed to care, but my partner is still mad at me 2 weeks later. He says I was insensitive and should have waited for him, but I feel like I couldn't risk being even later for something so significant in my career. I don't want to be unsupportive, but his OCD has been affecting both of us and he refuses to get help. Am I the asshole for leaving him at home? Edit to add, during his checks, I cannot talk. Otherwise, he has to start his checks all over. Am I the asshole?
In this situation, no. Like, no.
Yeah. I think I didn't realize that they weren't even like seeking professional
Yeah.
help. I think that actual OCD, and when it's diagnosed, it is a condition. It's not like I really like all my cups to be facing the same direction in the cabinet.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
great. That's not clinical obsessive compulsive disorder. So there's a reason that this is it's a diagnosis, and you can seek help and you can get things that help you with routines. And I know people that have had it can be triggered by stress, like those things that the stressors will create a higher desire for them to like have these compulsions or have these checks. And so I can see how like her being like, this is really important, da, 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 would trigger that to even be like harder for him. But I don't see why she would have to put her life on hold for him to continue his routine. Like, I'm not going to say he's the asshole, but like, get some help.
Yes, I agree. I think if it were just like date night or like let's go to the movies, then
Yeah.
it's one thing. But if this is a very important event, you're a work event, your boss is there,
For her. Yeah.
it's important that she's there. Also, like, no disrespect, it sounds like it wasn't even very important that he be there. Like, he could have missed it and it would have been fine.
Exactly.
So, like, it's okay. Like, this is important. You I don't know. I am respectful, want to be respectful, like you said, of like clinical diagnosis because this is a very real thing. But also, I think expecting somebody else to put themselves in a worse situation,
yeah.
to have to and like be affected by that for something that you're not getting help for, I think is also kind of fucked up.
Yeah. One of the commenters has OCD. And they said, I'm sure it sucks for my partner. I would never expect them to be late for their own event, let alone a professional work event because of it. Allowing him to go through 30 plus minutes of unreasonable behavior that make you late for things without challenge isn't being supportive. Being supportive is encouraging him to get help because his life is now yours and it's his life and now yours is being negatively impacted by something he refuses to get treated for. Newsflash, he's not managing it if it's getting worse.
Yeah.
And someone said, I think we're slowly losing the actual meaning of supportive. It's being pushed as more and more that supporting someone means never criticizing, for lack of a better word. But now it's to the point where constructive criticism is actually being kind in your encouragement of this behavior. It changes, or sorry, it's actually being in kind of encouraging this behavior and getting outside help. As opposed to just being rude or expecting them to get over it, there's a balance. Support also means being willing to say the hard things someone might need to hear but doesn't want to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I agree. Not being critical of someone else all the time, like never being any kind of critical, and letting them do whatever they want is called enabling. And I've watched enough episodes of Intervention to know that the enabler is also needs some help.
They do also need help. Yes. You know what? That's a good, is that show still on?
I don't know, actually. I think they canceled it for a little bit, but I think they brought it back because they did an episode about a whole season in Kensington and Philadelphia, which is
right.
Not great. But I don't know what happened after that. I don't know if it's still on.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like, yeah. Whatever the issue is, whether it is like an addiction problem, mental health, like, which are intrinsically linked, but yeah, enabling is a huge problem, and people need to like all get that support. And support does not mean like unfettered, just open-ended,
Support does not mean
to
staying silent in your own home for 2 hours while your boyfriend gets ready to leave the house. And like, that is a level of love that I strive to get to, because I don't know that I could do that. We would have to be in separate rooms, I think.
Yeah.
I would do a little bit. 2 hours.
Yeah, I prefer to be the mentally unstable one in the relationship. Like, I need
there's not enough room for both of us to be mentally unstable.
It's only my brand of crazy. Yep. And I'm medicated, so like it's fun. Honestly, like, that has been my theme of 2024. When people are like, how are you doing? Because like my postpartum was really, really hard, I'll be honest. And we, had some losses in the family, and it was like, how are you? And I'm like, well, the meds are working. I'm still here. So I got the balance down. Like, I don't know what to say. It's funny to me because if I weren't medicated, like, it would be really bad. It would be really hard for me. And I know that because it was. And I think it's okay. Like, if my brain isn't making enough of the right chemicals, store-bought are just fine. And that's what I needed to do. And maybe this guy could get a little extra bump in whatever he needs. Not that kind of bump, but like support.
That's not the medicine we're talking about.
Not self-medicating. Like a boost in dopamine or serotonin, whatever needs to happen there.
Medicine is very important. That's why
this is
called self-care.
Not medical advice. I am not a medical professional. Please do not seek your own medical advice. This podcast is not the place for it.
But do seek your own medical advice.
Yes, absolutely.
OP's boyfriend. Like, don't just say you're working on it when it's getting worse. Please. There's no shame in getting help for anything.
Nope. So we had 2 non-assholes today.
Wow.
So exciting.
This one's called, Was I Wrong for Going a Little Too Far and Scaring My Girlfriend's Son? I, 43 male, recently moved into a house with my girlfriend, 44 female, and her 2 kids, a 15-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl. I have a great relationship with both of the kids, and I think for the most part they're adjusting pretty well with the new living situation. But there was an issue recently. My girlfriend's kids are now sharing a bathroom. In their old house at their dad's, the bathrooms were communal, so everyone were communal to everyone, and they never ended up using the same bathroom. But in our new house, their bathroom is the one that's right next to each of their bedrooms, so we made it their combined bathroom. My girlfriend's son has a habit of leaving the toilet seat up constantly, and this really upsets his sister. He would leave it up, and she would get upset and call him a jerk. So one day, after he had left the seat up, and she got upset and called him a jerk, he came to me complaining about her and asked why should he have to put the seat down for her. I thought some education would help him, so I pointed out that his sister is a little kid who isn't very big. So if she went in there to go pee and sat on the seat, she could fall right into the toilet bowl and get hurt. I also told him that a girl's lady parts are delicate and she could get an infection if the water wasn't clean. Ever since then, he has been really paranoid about leaving the seat up.
Oh.
And every time his sister is going to the bathroom, he freaks out and runs to the bathroom first to make sure that the seat is down and has paranoia about her going to the bathroom and falling in the toilet and getting hurt. His mom asked why he was suddenly so worried about this so much, and he told her about me telling him the bad things that could happen to his sister if she went to go pee and tried to sit down on the toilet when he left the seat up. My girlfriend's a bit upset with me now. She agrees that he should leave the seat down for his sister and knows that it was good intentions, but she's very upset by her son's paranoia about it.
Oh.
Was I wrong?
Okay, so, oh my gosh. I think I commend like step parents or like bonus parents that come into a situation because I think it is so difficult. But there probably should have been a conversation like to get on the same page. And anytime my kids catch me off guard, cash me outside with something, I'm like, I hope I answered that okay. Like I'll real quick be like, Jay, so just so you know, this was said. I handled it this way. Hopefully that worked. Because you never really know how they're going to receive it. And it sounds like he like really took that to heart. I don't think he went too, I don't know. I mean, I think that was really sweet that's how it, like, that's how he internalized it. And he was like, I don't want her to get hurt. I don't want her to get an infection. I'm not going to be a jerk anymore. I don't know.
I don't think he was wrong, but also I'm a little bit of an asshole. And I also think I know that I grew up with people who would tell me like white lies all the time. I feel like it's kind of on the same line of when older people would tell you like, don't make that funny face, it'll get
like
stuck.
That,
or like, yeah, don't flip your eyeballs up, they'll get stuck like that. And I think it's just like, I think that it's fine. But also, I'm afraid of toilet bowls as well. I feel like if I was sharing a toilet with a 15-year-old, I would always be afraid of whatever going on down there. It better be spotless. I really don't like mold in a toilet seat specifically. And if I fell into a toilet seat and toilet water hit my lady parts, I would be very upset. So maybe she actually could get infection. It might not be a lie.
No, I don't think it's that far-fetched. I don't think he lied. But maybe like stressing the like severity or like I mean, I remember being taught because this brings up a whole other thing. Like when you're in public, do you squat or sit? Like, do you cover the seat and sit, or do you squat?
I squat on every time that I possibly can.
Always a squatter. I'm a squatter, which is really hard when you go.
Squatters' rights are very important.
When you go to the doctor and they're like, "Can you produce a urine sample?" and I'm like, do you have monkey bars? Because I gotta do some weird thing. Sure. So I'm squatting and I'm collecting. Anyway,
collecting the pee in that little baby little tiny cup is really hard.
Yeah.
I feel like I need like a cone. That's how I know that men designed this process.
100%. Yeah, the whole thing. Which that's so funny because does anyone talk about that? I don't know that I have the right aim or even like the ability to, I'm not that flexible. Anyway, yes, I'm really glad my husband too has always like stressed to our son, like, put the seat down. And I haven't, from a hygiene standpoint, yes, but at first I thought to just teach the boys to aim and go with the seat down. And turns out that's also not a good idea. That's very unsanitary. They don't have that. You're teaching them how to, you're potty training them at like 2. They don't have that great of aim. It's going everywhere. It's going everywhere, and then I'm cleaning more. So I understand, but he's a 15-year-old boy, so I digress. I think that it was a great lesson. Was the lesson learned at the end of the day? Yes. Is he going to be paranoid about this forever? I hope not. I remember being paranoid.
I hope so. He'll be fine.
He'll be fine. And maybe he'll be a better partner for it in the future.
Oh my God, he's going to get married one day. If he gets married to a woman one day, and she's like, why are you so freaked out? He's going to say, I don't want to give you an infection if you fall into the toilet. And like, she would be ecstatic.
Yeah, she'd be like, how many people have fallen in the toilet for you? But yeah, I remember thinking, if I touch this toilet seat in public, wherever I was, a diner, the airport, I'd be like,
not a diner, or those are the worst places.
I will have an STD. And I remember being like 10 or 12 years old, thinking like, I will get syphilis, I'll lose my vision, I'm going to die like the founding fathers, like this is going to be bad.
I still think, can't you get crabs and at least herpes from a toilet seat? Or is that a lie?
I don't know how long you'd have to sit there for the crabs to really like attach.
To make their way to
hitch a ride. But I don't want to find out either. Nope. I don't want to know. I also remember someone telling me at one point that like back in our day, kids, we didn't walk around with Stanleys. A water fountain, the bubblers,
those were disgusting.
They were. And I think we had to actually like, take a swab and learn how to use a petri dish on those things. They're like, that's dirtier than the toilet seat. And I'm like, yeah, because all of our parents taught us not to sit on those bitches, so they are probably pretty fucking clean because we're all doing squats and hovering. I hover. Yep. Sometimes I even cover and I hover. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not taking any risks out here. It's a crazy world.
It's a crazy world. Anything can happen.
But I'm syphilis free. So.
Cheers to that. Also, another thing that I really don't appreciate about leaving the toilet seat up, or just in general, even like for anyone going to the bathroom, you need to put all of the seats down, the lid and the seat.
When you flush it.
Because when you flush it, the little molecules go everywhere. And it's
I have
disgusting.
seen that video. Who hasn't seen that video? I made my son watch that video about coughing when it was like in 2020. And I was like, this is why you cover your fucking mouth, you filthy animal.
If you come over to my house and I learn that you do not close the lid when you go to the bathroom, you might not get an invitation back.
You heard it here, folks.
Close that lid. I also, though, have a little phobia of toilets because when I was little, I lived in Florida and we had, it's Florida.
Scorpions, snakes.
And frogs. I got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and I was very young, maybe like 3 or 4, maybe 5. I don't know. And I was peeing and I heard lots of splish splash in the bathroom. I was like, oh my God, I'm peeing so much. I had to pee so bad. And then I heard a big splash and I felt something hit my butt. It was a frog that was in the toilet, traumatized the fuck out of me. I still think about it. If I ever am on the toilet for too long, I get freaked out that something's going to come through the pipes. And I'm like, I got to go wrap this shit up. Literally, I got to get off the toilet. I can't spend too long on there.
I was always told not to spend too long in there because you'll get hemorrhoids. But now I have to worry about frogs.
Yeah, at least in Florida.
Don't be mad if the next time you're having a rough day, I say, what frog called up your ass? What frog splashed his way up your crack?
What frog ribbited in your sphincter? Okay, let's do some comments really quickly. Okay. So your girlfriend is upset that you told her that you sold her ton. So your girlfriend is upset that you told her son the truth. You did not mean to cause a paranoia. He will calm down, give it time. She should have taught them to always close the toilet lid before they flushed. solves two problems. For now, make sure that there's a nightlight in the bathroom so she can see the toilet seat even if she does not turn on the lights. It will help the son too, which valid point. She should also be taught to look at that seat before she sits down to make sure.
Yeah.
You got to look out for yourself because these men don't care about any of us, girl. Interesting. Okay. Another one said, you just said something accurate. It's good he's concerned. That means he cares about his sister. He's a good egg. He could have decided to just leave it up more, but didn't. As for the anxiety, that's separate. You can't protect kids from not knowing or understanding bad consequences to all actions, nor should you. But this is why the specific thing causes that knee-jerk reaction. Or no, but why does this specific thing cause a knee-jerk reaction? Your girlfriend should just talk to the kid and see why he's triggered with such a response. OP said, I don't know who JOP is, but OP said, oh yes, he's a great big brother. He loves his sister very much, and she loves him a ton. I'm guessing the thought of her getting hurt is just what really scared him, and now he has anxiety about it. Which, honestly, as someone with anxiety, I get it. Like, no amount of anxiety is fun or great. But, like, having anxiety that you don't want your sister to be hurt.
That's safe. That's safe. I will say, too, like, for him to be 15, and this is the first he's really, like, grasping at that concept of that type of sanitation, he could have learned that a lot sooner. So.
Yeah.
He's all right.
Interesting. All right. Well, not the asshole this time. You were not wrong in my eyes.
I love it when we have a good off the hook, not the asshole story.
Me too. There still are some good people out there.
Yeah, every once in a while. It's not us, but they're out there.
I don't run into them often, and I know it's not me, but I'm glad y'all are out there.
Good for you. Good for you. Get your flowers. Okay, wait. What was the bullfrogs? Oh, down by the river with Hanky Panky, with the bullfrogs jump from bank to bank with the E-I-O-U.
I don't know what is next after that. Wait, I have to find this out right now.
I need to know.
What even does down by the riverside a hanky panky? A hanky panky?
No, there's a hanky pank with the hanky. I don't know.
Okay, so the people from North Florida have lyrics that I've never seen. Something about Dr. Pepper and Daddy jumping from something. Okay, hold on. That's not the one I heard in the South where I'm from.
Which is north of Florida, but too sure.
Oh my gosh, this one's also different.
Down by the river.
Can anyone from Middle Tennessee send us what the lyrics to this are? Because Google is wrong.
Okay, down by the river, down by the banks of the Hanky Panky, where the bullfrogs jump from bank to banky, singing hip, hop, don't stop, listen to the water plop. This is nothing I've ever heard.
That's not the one.
Was this like a double dutch down by the river with No, it wasn't. Also, Miss Mary Mack all dressed in black with silver buttons, wasn't it? All down her back.
I don't know, what did Miss Mary Mack have all down her back?
Miss Mary Mack all dressed in black. I thought you did like a thing.
I didn't do a thing. I didn't do a thing.
I'm so sorry, listener.
I think I only did this one.
Listener, we're sorry.
Listen, you need to stop saying single listener.
No.
There's two of them.
I know. There's definitely two of them.
Thank you to both of you.
You and me.